Hi, everyone. My name is Wendy Castle, registered dietitian and diabetes specialist at One Bite Nutrition. Super excited to have Ogechi, one of our dietetic interns here from Illinois State University. And we have Nikki, one of our amazing dietitians here with us as well. And we're going to talk about the harm of labeling foods as good or bad. So red light, green light, sometimes that can kind of have a gray area and give people kind of a misconception of what foods to eat and what not to eat. So, Ogechi, if you want to kind of start us off with some of these questions for Nikki.
Okay, yeah. So let's start with why do people label foods as good or bad in the first place?
So this definitely usually comes from diet culture. So either your past, your present, social media influence. People want those quick rules for food to feel in control of it. So initially, this categorization seems helpful, but it nearly always backfires.
Okay. What's the main problem with calling foods good and bad or bad?
The biggest thing here is that it creates that moral value around foods and around eating in general. So it can lead to feelings like guilt, shame, and anxiety with those food choices. Instead, food should be seen, all right, as that nourishment, which is what we talk about all the time, and even enjoyment factors. So it can really impact your relationship with food with an all or nothing thought process. If you eat good food that day, you were good. If you ate bad food that day, you were bad. Again, this causes us to make those food decisions based on the rules rather than our body's needs.
Okay. So we know that labeling food good or bad can impact our relationship with food. How does it affect your physical health?
Yeah, so by restricting those certain foods to either quantity of food in general, you increase your stress, your cravings, and of course, it can cause that metabolic dysregulation too. So restricting leads to overeating, and then we just kind of have this vicious cycle that it just goes on and on.
Um, Now, what would you say to someone arguing that some foods are healthier than others?
Yeah. So I really like the saying that all foods fit. So different foods serve different purposes. It's better to see food as a spectrum versus all or nothing. So food serves as nourishment mainly, but it also has roles again in enjoyment, comfort, convenience, and of course culture as well. All foods have a place in an overall balanced eating pattern.
And how can someone shift away from using the good, bad thought process?
Yeah, one of the first steps, away from this is to start using a neutral language. So instead of saying that a food is good or bad, maybe try more nutritious or less nutritious. You can also start by focusing on foods that make you feel, or how working on how foods make you feel using words. So things like this food makes me feel energized, it makes me feel satisfied, bloated, etc. Right? Using the different languages. Another good way to start is by practicing adding foods to our meals versus restricting. So instead, or for example, let me add veggies alongside my pizza versus banning pizza altogether.
Okay. What are some red flags to watch out for to tell if food labeling is becoming harmful?
Yeah, so things to look out for would be, of course, feeling guilty around eating certain foods. If you start avoiding social events due to the fear of food or fear of
Yeah.
knowing that food's going to be there or having to eat in front of people. And then, of course, that anxiety over when you're not in control over what's being served. And then, just in general, having rules around what, when, where, and how much you eat. Those can all be red flags to look out for.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nikki and Ogechi, for going through that. Yeah. And I know, a lot of people struggle with this, even if they don't have disordered eating patterns. And, what we say can reflect upon those around us. So it can
Mm.
reflect upon family members, it can reflect around friends. Um, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you want to know more about healthy eating behaviors, check us out on onebitenutrition.com. You can book direct with our dietitians there. If you like this video, please subscribe below.